My name is Layla J. Dubin, and I was 30 years old when my life split cleanly in half over a text message that pretended to be harmless. I was sitting at my desk at work, half listening to a budget meeting, when my phone buzzed. It was from my fiancé, Evan, 32, the man I was supposed to marry in 3 weeks. Everything was already paid for. Venue booked. 150 guests confirmed. Deposits locked in. A future supposedly settled. Hey babe, need to tell you something. That was the first message. My stomach tightened, but I told myself not to be dramatic. People said that a lot when I trusted my instincts too much. Remember how we said we could each bring a +1 for friends who didn't get invites? Well, Maya reached out. She's going through a rough time. Lost her job. Her mom's sick. I want to invite her as my +1, just as a friend. She needs support right now. Maya, his ex-girlfriend of 4 years, the woman he'd assured me was ancient history, the one he described as basically family now, the one he promised me he barely spoke to. I stared at my phone for a full minute. My coworkers kept talking. Someone laughed. Life continued like my chest wasn't tightening by the second. Then I typed back, no problem. 3 words. Calm. Agreeable. The kind of response women are praised for. My phone rang immediately. Evan's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. A text followed. Really? You're okay with it? Yep, I replied. Your wedding. Your choice. Our wedding, Layla, he wrote. And thank you for being so understanding. This is why I love you. I put my phone face down and opened our wedding planning group chat. 58 people. Both families. Bridal party. Friends. Everyone who mattered. Everyone who would soon have an opinion. Hey everyone, quick update. The wedding is off. We'll explain later. Anyone who bought plane tickets, I'll reimburse you. Sorry for the inconvenience. I turned my phone off and went back to work. At 5 p.m., I turned it back on. 312 missed calls. 89 message threads. My phone crashed twice trying to load everything. The group chat was nuclear. Layla, what the hell? This isn't funny. Is this some kind of joke? Whatever the issue is, you can work through it. You're overreacting. Evan's mother, Patricia, messaged privately. Sweetheart, what's going on? His father, Robert, called me daughter and asked me to reconsider. My best friend Nina wrote, Are you safe? Then came the message that stopped me cold. It was from Leo, Evan's cousin, 27, tattooed, blunt, the one people whispered about at family gatherings. Finally, he wrote, Good for you. I stared at the screen. She's been texting Maya for months, he continued. I tried to warn you but didn't know how. Check Evan's iPad. Messages sync. My hands were shaking when I typed back. Thanks. Coffee tomorrow? Absolutely, he replied. And Layla, I've got your back. I drove home slowly. Evan's car wasn't there. Relief washed over me before I could stop it. His iPad was on the coffee table. I knew the password. His birthday. Because of course it was. The messages went back 8 months. Not explicit. Worse. Intimate. Familiar. Nostalgic. I miss us. You understood me in ways Layla doesn't. She's great, but she's not you. Messages about me like I wasn't real, like I was a placeholder, a plan. The most recent thread made my stomach drop. I can't believe she said yes to me bringing you, Maya wrote. I know, Evan replied. She's so trusting, kind of pathetic. Pathetic. You sure you want to marry her? Maya asked. The wedding's already paid for, Evan wrote. My parents would kill me. She's stable. Good job. Nice apartment. After a year or two, we'll figure out us. I screenshot everything, emailed it to myself, backed it up in 3 places, then I packed a bag and left. I didn't cry, not yet. Because some betrayals don't hurt at first. They go quiet, and then they burn. I stayed at my friend Nina's place that night. She didn't ask questions right away. She poured me a drink, handed me a blanket, and let me sit in the quiet until the shock wore off enough for words to form. When I finally showed her the screenshots, she didn't gasp or curse or say anything dramatic. She just looked at me with this sad, steady certainty and said, I'm so sorry, Layla. None of this is on you. I nodded like I understood, even though part of me was still trying to negotiate with reality, still clinging to the idea that maybe context could save him, that maybe there was some explanation that didn't make me feel like an idiot who'd been performing the role of perfect fiancé in a play written by someone else. The next morning, I met Leo for coffee. He was already there when I arrived, sitting outside with 2 cups, like he knew I'd need the extra caffeine. He didn't start with pity. He didn't say I told you so. He just slid his phone across the table. Screenshots. More messages, dates, names, a pattern. Evan had done this before. College girlfriend, same script, emotional overlap, engagement as leverage, ex kept close as a friend. When things got inconvenient, he flipped the story and painted himself as the reasonable one dealing with an unstable partner. Why didn't anyone tell me? I asked, my voice quieter than I expected. Leo shrugged. Would you have believed it? You loved him. And Patricia shuts people down hard. I'm already the family problem. No one listens to me. As if on cue, Evan started calling again. Voicemails stacked up. His tone shifted from confused to wounded to annoyed. He texted that I was embarrassing him, that this could have been handled privately, that I was spiraling. By noon, the narrative had turned. Mutual friends messaged asking if I was okay. Someone asked if I was safe. That's when I knew. He was setting the stage, painting me as jealous, unstable, emotional. I remembered Leo telling me, almost casually, she's pre-explaining your reaction. That's how they do it. Only now it wasn't she. It was him. That afternoon, Patricia finally got through. I answered because part of me still hoped for decency. Layla, sweetheart, she began, already exhausted. Evan explained everything. This Maya situation is just a misunderstanding. Are you really going to throw away 3 years over jealousy? I told her I had the messages. I told her about the 8 months, the plan, the word pathetic. Silence filled the line, heavy and uncomfortable. Then she sighed. All couples have rough patches. Do you know how humiliating this is for us? We've spent $30,000. I told her I'd reimburse the guests. That's not the point, she snapped. Evan is devastated. He's been crying for days. I surprised myself by saying, good. Then I hung up. A minute later, Leo texted, family meeting tonight at Patricia's. Intervention. You're the topic. I stared at the message and felt something in me finally loosen. Want to do something better? I typed back. There's a tattoo convention downtown, he responded instantly. Pick you up at 7. That night, I laughed for the first time in weeks. Real laughter. The kind that doesn't feel borrowed. Leo introduced me to artists, explained styles, told stories about growing up in that family and choosing honesty over approval. We talked about everything except Evan until I brought him up myself, about how I felt like I'd been auditioning for the role of wife instead of actually being loved. Leo listened, didn't interrupt, didn't fix, just listened. You know what you need? He said eventually. To do something the old Layla would never do. I asked what he meant. He shrugged. Quit the performance. Choose chaos. Meanwhile, Evan went full public. He showed up at my office. Security escorted him out. He told people I was having a breakdown, and he was just trying to help. His friends flooded my social media with comments about how controlling I was, how he dodged a bullet. He posted old photos of us with captions about betrayal and heartbreak, about how love isn't enough when jealousy takes over. Then he made his mistake. He posted in the wedding group chat. For those asking, Layla's control issues finally showed their true colors. She threw a tantrum because I wanted to help a friend in need. I'm sorry you're all affected by her instability. Maya has been nothing but supportive through this difficult time. I didn't hesitate. I posted everything. 8 months of messages, screenshots, dates. The word pathetic highlighted like a confession. The chat went silent. 3 full minutes. Then the messages came. Layla, I'm so sorry. Evan, this is messed up. Is this real? Even his sister wrote, this isn't okay. Leo finished it with one line. Same pattern as college. Ask anyone who remembers. Evan left the group chat. Patricia texted me privately. You've humiliated our family. I replied, your son did that. I just told the truth. And for the first time since this began, I felt something close to calm. The fallout didn't happen all at once. It came in waves, like aftershocks, each one revealing who people really were when the story could no longer be controlled. Evan went silent publicly, but privately he unraveled. Texts from unknown numbers started coming in. Friends of friends. People asking me to reconsider, to be the bigger person, to think about how this would look long term. I didn't reply. For the first time, I wasn't interested in looking good. I was interested in being done. Leo stayed close without hovering. He checked in once a day. Sometimes it was just a meme. Sometimes it was a "you holding up?" He never asked for details unless I offered them. That alone felt like oxygen after years of explaining myself to someone who was already planning his next excuse. I went back to my apartment with Nina to collect the rest of my things. Evan wasn't there, but his presence was everywhere. Shoes by the door, notes on the fridge, a future that had been staged so carefully it almost fooled me. I packed only what was mine. Everything else felt contaminated by intention. By midweek, Evan escalated again. He sent me a long email about how I'd ruined his reputation, how I'd weaponized private conversations, how I'd turned his family against him. He said Maya had cut him off because of the backlash and that this was all my fault. That's when the anger finally arrived, sharp and clean. I replied once, one sentence. Consequences aren't abuse. Then I blocked him everywhere. The group chat changed tone completely. People stopped talking about the wedding and started sharing updates about their lives like nothing had ever happened. Evan's absence became normal faster than I expected. Leo pointed it out one night when we were sitting on my balcony, eating takeout straight from the containers. People always think drama lasts forever, he said. It doesn't. Truth settles. Lies get tired. I believed him. Patricia didn't stop, though. She sent me a formal-looking message about how this could have been handled privately, how airing dirty laundry was cruel, how I owed the family an apology. I didn't respond. Leo told me she'd been calling him nonstop, accusing him of betrayal, of choosing a stranger over blood. He laughed when he told me, but I could hear the old hurt underneath it. I've been the villain since I was 16, he said. This isn't new. I told him I was sorry. He shrugged. Worth it. That weekend, Evan showed up again. Not at my place. At Leo's. I wasn't there, but Leo told me everything later. Evan accused him of poisoning me, of manipulating the situation, of waiting for a chance to embarrass him. Leo didn't raise his voice. He just told Evan to leave. When Evan didn't, Leo called the police. That was it. That was the line. Evan left in a fury, texting afterward that this wasn't over. It was over for me. Leo suggested we get out of town for a bit. No agenda, he said. Just air. I agreed without thinking. We drove to the mountains the next morning, windows down, music low. No wedding talk, no family analysis, just space. The cabin was small and quiet, surrounded by trees that didn't care who'd cheated on whom. That first night, sitting by the fire, Leo admitted something he'd never said out loud. Watching him treat you like that, he said, staring into the flames, made me angrier than I expected. I didn't respond right away. I didn't need to. The truth was sitting between us, unforced. The next day, we hiked to a lake. The water was still, the kind of stillness that makes you feel like you're interrupting something sacred. We talked about everything we'd avoided before: fear, family pressure, the roles people assign you when you're young and never let you outgrow. I told him how invisible I'd felt in my own relationship, how I'd confused stability with love. He listened the same way he always did, like my words mattered, even when they were messy. As the sun started to set, something shifted. Not dramatically, not like a movie, just a quiet alignment. I realized I felt safe, not excited or anxious or desperate to be chosen, just safe. When I kissed him, it wasn't planned, it wasn't strategic, it was instinctive. He froze for half a second, then kissed me back like he'd been holding his breath for years. This is complicated, I said, pulling back. He smiled, not dismissive, not scared. So is pretending nothing's happening. We laughed, a little shaky, a little relieved. Later that night, sitting on the edge of the bed, he said it half joking, "There's a courthouse 20 minutes from here." I stared at him. "You're not serious." He shrugged. "Why not?" He didn't talk about revenge. He talked about choice, about knowing someone long enough to trust them without performance, about doing something honest, even if it looked insane from the outside. I didn't answer right away. I didn't need to. The answer had already settled. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't reacting. I was choosing. We didn't go to the courthouse that night, not immediately. We sat with the idea like you sit with a truth that scares you because it feels too right too fast. In the morning, nothing had changed except the quiet certainty humming under everything. No regret, no panic, just clarity. Leo made coffee like it was any other day. I watched him move around the small kitchen, comfortable, unperformative, and it hit me how little effort it took to exist around him. No bracing, no editing myself, no wondering which version of me would be easiest to love. We talked it through like adults, not like people chasing adrenaline. What this was, what it wasn't, that neither of us was running from Evan or his family or the wreckage. We weren't trying to win. We were choosing not to lose ourselves again. Leo said something that stuck with me. I don't want to be the rebound guy. I want to be the right now choice. That mattered. That honesty mattered. By noon, we were in the car. No dramatic music, no speeches, just a quiet drive down a mountain road, trees blurring past, the weight of my old life slowly loosening its grip. The courthouse was small and unremarkable. Beige walls, a bored clerk, 2 strangers as witnesses. I signed my name with a hand that didn't shake. When the clerk smiled and said, "You two look happy," I realized she was right. Not performatively happy, not proving anything, just grounded. We took a selfie outside, laughing because neither of us could believe we'd actually done it. Leo posted it to the old wedding group chat before I could overthink it. When you know, you know. The reaction was instant and explosive. My phone overheated. Messages stacked up faster than I could read them. Shock, confusion, accusations, applause. Evan's mother called Leo screaming. I could hear her through the phone from across the room. "You stole her from him." Leo's voice stayed calm. She wasn't his to steal. Evan texted me from a new number. "You married my cousin? This is psychological warfare." I replied once. "No, what you did for 8 months was psychological warfare. This is me choosing differently." He threatened legal action. I wished him luck and blocked the number. His father, Robert, surprised me by calling later that evening. He didn't yell. He didn't lecture. He just said, "I'm disappointed in how my son handled things. Take care of each other." That was it. The consequences rippled outward. Evan moved back home, lost his job after HR uncovered more overlap than anyone wanted to admit. Maya cut contact completely. The family narrative shifted again, this time without my involvement. I stayed out of it. Leo and I went back to the mountains for one more night, not to celebrate, but to breathe. We talked about boundaries, about what rebuilding would look like, about not repeating patterns just because they were familiar. When we returned to the city, life didn't magically become simple. Patricia sent a bill for emotional damages to the family reputation. We framed it and hung it in our bathroom. It made us laugh every morning. Evan tried one last time to contact me through a mutual friend. I declined. Silence became my strongest boundary. What surprised me most wasn't the drama fading. It was how quickly peace took its place. We moved into a new apartment together, slowly, intentionally. Leo respected my need to unpack the past without rushing the future. He defended me in rooms I wasn't in. I supported him when his family shut him out. It wasn't dramatic. It was real. One night, sitting on the couch surrounded by half-unpacked boxes, Leo looked at me and said, "Any regrets?" I thought about the wedding dress hanging unused, the guest list, the version of myself that thought love meant endurance. "Only one," I said, not trusting myself sooner. He smiled. "We got here anyway." And that felt like enough. Life didn't slow down after that. It just stopped revolving around him. The noise faded faster than I expected. The wedding group chat stayed active, but not for the reasons it once existed. People shared job updates, baby photos, memes. Evan and Patricia quietly disappeared from it. No announcement, no dramatic exit. No one noticed for almost 2 weeks. That felt like the most honest ending possible. Evan tried once more. A new number, a short message. "I hope you're happy." I stared at it for a long moment before replying. "I actually am. Thanks for setting me free." Then I blocked the number and put my phone down. No shaking hands, no adrenaline, just closure. The aftermath found its own rhythm. Evan moved back in with his parents, unemployed, cycling through explanations that didn't land. Maya posted vague quotes about betrayal and healing that no one engaged with. He started telling people he'd been manipulated, that the stress had made him lose himself. I didn't correct the story. I didn't need to. Truth has a way of settling without commentary. Leo and I built something quieter. Mornings with coffee and shared silence. Evenings where we talked about real things instead of managing impressions. He started sketching designs again, talking about opening his own studio. I helped him with permits, budgets, spreadsheets. He teased me about how serious I got, how I turned chaos into logistics. "You're good at rebuilding," he said once. I hadn't realized how true that was. We held a small reception weeks later, close friends, the family members still speaking to us. No speeches about destiny or fate, just laughter and food and the absence of tension. Nina hugged me and whispered, "This version of you feels lighter." I believed her. Leo gave a short toast about choosing honesty over comfort. I didn't cry. I smiled. Patricia never apologized. She sent one last message about disappointment and appearances. We didn't reply. Robert mailed us a gift instead. A coffee maker, a card that said, "You two make sense." That was enough. The old venue couldn't refund the full deposit, so we repurposed it. A charity event for a local art program Leo volunteered with. It raised more than expected. When Evan found out, he posted something angry and deleted it within hours after the charity publicly thanked us and tagged everyone involved. Silence followed. One afternoon, sitting in Leo's studio, watching him work on a detailed dragon design, I realized something simple and grounding. I wasn't bracing anymore. I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was present. He looked up, caught me staring, and winked. "No regrets," he said. "Only one," I replied, not seeing what was right in front of me sooner. He laughed and tossed a paper towel at me. "Cheesy." "You love it." "I do." And that was it. No dramatic finale, no victory lap, just life continuing with someone who showed up when it mattered, someone who defended me when I wasn't in the room, someone who didn't confuse love with leverage. I learned something through all of it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And when someone shows you who they've always been, choose them, even if the choice looks chaotic from the outside. Especially then,